All right, welcome to day 25 of walking the Hexatetraglyph. If you're new here, this oracle board sitting here in front of me is a miniature sacred space that we've been traveling across for the last 25 days. We're getting close to an end point. On this journey, you start near the center, and then you follow 6 branching pathways until you reach one of 64 possible endpoints. Each one is a hexagram from the I Ching. The board is laid out in a very natural way that sort of maps the I Ching. It's a bit like a labyrinth. Each day we work with astrology to come up with a topic or a question, and then we write in our personal journal about that topic. And to explore the topic, we draw 3 tarot cards each day. On the final day, on day 27, when we reach an endpoint, we consult the I Ching. It kind of summarizes the whole experience. It's a culmination of something like a spiritual pilgrimage. Every move that you make, every choice that you make, the way that you categorize things, it all contributes to the end result. So it kind of analyzes your psyche or your spirit. And on the final day, you get to approach a wise oracle, the I Ching. So this is a very different method for casting a hexagram. If you're interested in learning more, I recommend you go back and watch the first video in this series. There will be more to come, but we just have a couple more days before we consult the I Ching. Today, 25, tomorrow, day 26, and then day 27, we will be consulting the I Ching with a hexagram. So this is a special moment. You can see that we've gone through almost the whole deck. That's all the cards that we have remaining in our tarot deck. Because we use 3 cards a day, 3 times 26 is 78. We use all the cards in the deck by tomorrow. On the 26th day, we will have seen every card in the deck. So far, we've traveled down the first pathway, left on the second pathway, and up on the third pathway. That led us to the trigram of mountain. When you travel down, you're moving yin. When you travel left, you're moving yin. When you travel up, you're moving yang. And when you travel right, you're moving yang. So down yin, left yin, up yang. Then we traveled left on the 4th pathway. And today we're going to finish up our 5th pathway. So to get started, we're going to draw 2 planetary tokens, categorize them, which one is more yin and which one's more yang, and then we will decide which one we want to work with. So I'm going to just reach over here into my little dish with tokens here. See what we got. Mars and the moon. Okay, so Mars is still in Libra. We've worked with Libra quite a bit, and the moon is in Capricorn today. We haven't actually worked with Capricorn yet. Let's see, the moon will definitely be on the yin side. So we're here on pathway 5. So the moon will go on the bottom position Y, the bottom side of the pathway, in that yin position. And Mars in Libra will go up here in the yang position. It has a lot more yang energy. So Mars is in the upper Y position. You can see how close we are here. If you couldn't tell, I was more interested in working with the moon in Capricorn. We haven't seen Capricorn yet in this journey. It takes 27 days to get through the board. It takes the moon 27.3 days to move through the zodiac. So our movement is kind of tied to the moon's travels through the zodiac, which gives us the opportunity to work with the different signs, the different lunar mansions or nakshatras. That part of the design is very important to me. I really wanted all 64 hexagrams on here laid out in a unique and logical, powerful way, which I think this board does show that. I wanted it to have a lunar element. The moon moves through the zodiac faster than any other planet. So it takes 1 month to complete this. It's about the same as the moon to complete its cycle. I wanted the positions to have some sort of order. So to have the number 26 work so well with using all of the cards in the tarot deck, and also the English alphabet. I know that doesn't correlate with Chinese, but you know, I'm an English speaking person, and this was a tool that I came up with for my own personal use, and now I'm sharing it. And so this was my symbolic way of seeing it. But 26 positions works nicely with all these numbers. To bring all these numbers together, I had to allow that process to breathe over time. I couldn't just force the tarot and the zodiac and a moon's cycle and the 64 hexagrams and the alphabet. I couldn't just force all of that. You know, that took time for me to be able to allow this arrangement to happen. And then I had to think of, you know, why would heaven be up here on the top right and earth down at the bottom left? And there's a lot to consider. How to use the planets. Kind of just putting it all together without violating any of the systems was my main goal. I wanted them all to play nicely together. But I wanted to be able to use all three systems because it's kind of a synchronicity making machine. And I think throughout this pilgrimage, throughout this journey that we've been on, for me anyways, I have seen a lot of synchronicity. So that's why I've done this experiment and shared it in real time, working on my own personal issues, working on my own personal questions, sharing a lot about what I go through and what my desires are, what my needs are. It's been powerful. It's a case study, and it's done exactly so far what I've needed it to. So I'm really happy with the way it's turned out. And today and tomorrow, and then we get our hexagram. So the moon in Capricorn. I needed a minute to think here about what I could talk about, but I think this one is actually pretty obvious for me. The moon in Capricorn, the thing that comes up to me, the image that I get out of it is kind of a stoic image. I think because we haven't seen Capricorn, actually maybe we should just grab a couple keywords out of here. Astrology by Carol Taylor. Let's just take a look at Capricorn real quick. Grab a couple keywords. I like to do this every now and then so that we remember what we're talking about. Capricorn is negative or feminine, cardinal. So it gets things started. It's the element of Earth, and the ruling planet is Saturn. Hardworking, self-sufficient, practical, playing by the rules. The goat fish. Totem animal is a goat, which could be related to an ambitious climb to the top and quiet endurance. Pragmatic, planners, sense of purpose. Let's take a look at the moon real quick. The moon in Capricorn, you may need a structured routine and you tend to be efficient with your time and resources. Safety comes from feeling you are in control. So I'm thinking about the moon and emotions and how I have a big range of bipolar emotions, you know? Talked about that a lot. I can overreact and I say things that I regret later. And I am a Cancer. Sun Cancer, right? So I have over the years developed more emotional instability, and overreacting to things, like basically burning bridges and shooting myself in the foot and wondering, why did I just do that? Why, with the people I love the most, do I get agitated and then I say things and then I regret it 10 minutes later, and then I don't learn my lesson? I want to learn how to be more grounded when things are triggering, when a complex, a Jungian term, when a complex is constellated, meaning old trauma is dug up, or patterns come up. Things remind me of, even maybe unconsciously, remind me of circumstances that I've lived with in my life, or events or traumatic experiences, or just patterns that were built, things that I learned to deal with, or emotions that have been bottled in. Essentially just those times when you overreact because there's been a lifetime of experiences that were either bottled up or they taught you or trained you. They're just part of who you are. And unconsciously, they're operating behind the scenes. You know, you could end up having a stutter every time you see someone wearing cowboy boots because you had a father that used to kick you in the butt with his cowboy boots. And now you unconsciously don't even realize it, but you just see some boots and you start stuttering, and you don't even know what that's about. You know, there's just these programs that are just operating in us. And I feel as though I have certain things, whether it's related to my experience in the military or something else. Too little butter, too much bread, you know, spread thin. I don't have the bandwidth, and I get frustrated, and then I say something and I'm like, wow, why do I do stuff like that? I want to learn how to be more grounded in those experiences. And I think as a Cancer ruled by the moon with those big emotional issues in Capricorn, it gives me an opportunity to think about being grounded. So, I mean, I don't know if my astrologer friends can agree totally with my interpretation there, but that's my free association. And it comes to mind pretty easily for me. I don't know if it's stoicism exactly. I'm not sure, because I'm not good at it. So just having the vocabulary for that sort of thing would be nice. But hopefully you get the point. And if you want to take a few moments and write down a topic that you would like to explore, a question you would like to explore before we draw 3 tarot cards, you can hit pause and do that. I don't think I'm going to use a spread. I just want to see if I can get a story. I would say most of my spreads, the cards sort of sabotage them and I just see some story. I start trying to hold the cards to their categories and I'm like, no, they're speaking to me. Like my spread is not quite working here. It's like I need to just let the cards just breathe a little bit. So I haven't fully decided. At some point I might create at least 84 spreads. We'll see. I would like to probably do that. If you're an astrologer, if you know a lot about tarot and astrology and you would like to work on that with me, you know, by all means, please let me know. All right, so let's draw these cards. Holy cow, the King of Cups. And I drew it upside down. Reversal. I haven't been using reversals, but yeah. Real-time synchronicity, folks. Okay, case study here. I don't know if you see that, but the King of Cups sitting on that wavy sea already. I'm just like, you're speaking my language right now. Heartbreak. Was I not just talking about trauma, complexes, a lifetime of experiences that make you unstable? the Three of Swords. Okay? And look at that. I'm getting goosebumps. The King of Swords. You see those goosebumps? See? I swear to anybody who questions, I haven't stacked the deck, gone through it, touched it. Every day I just look at my chart of the moment. I come in prepared. I've been studying my tarot cards throughout this whole journey. I've been picking up my tarot card books. I've been reading T. Susan Chang's blog a lot. I've been trying to make myself educated and prepared, but I am no expert. I'm pretty new to astrology. I understand transits and some conjunctions and stuff like that, you know. But I am no expert in these things. Traditionally, I like to read cards by free association. And for me, this right here is just, it's blatantly obvious. You know, this is talking about what I'm asking about. But I've just gone through this deck. Here it is. I shuffled it right before I started. 3 cards per day. Just let them come out as they will. And time after time, I'm getting very profound messages. Trauma's in the middle. It kind of reminds me of Plato's tripartite soul in a way. If you don't know what that is, you know, take a little time to look into that. I don't have time to sit here and try to explain Plato, but it's in the Republic. The King of Cups, mature, the master of emotions with a vessel, can hold the emotions. The King of Swords. I have a therapist and I have an attorney. Not just an attorney who is very proficient, cares about justice. You know, I knew a colonel when I was in the Army who was a literal genius. We called him the human lie detector. Unbelievable. Guy was a multimillionaire, completely dedicated to his work, generous and kind to people, and he was a genius. He wrote textbooks for the War College at one point. Maybe he was the smartest guy I've ever met. And when I see the King of Swords, I always am reminded of him. He was a pretty serious guy, but he was also likable. And he was just such an incredible mentor. And if I remember correctly, he might have had a law degree. But he reminds me of the King of Swords. I always think of the King of Swords when I think of that guy. And I just think, what if you had a great therapist and a great attorney on your side? But to me, I see the King of Cups as a vessel for emotions. The emotions can flow. They're welcome. They can be held. Bring them in. The emotions are fine. Hey, I'm a Cancer. I'm gonna have emotions. I'm an emotional person. But here's the discerning factor here. Allow the heartbreak to be seen. Feel it. Examine it. Know that it's real. It's part of life. We're not trying to repress or deny it. But use evidence and discerning philosophical wisdom. Take your time to study what it is that you feel and how you should react. What the appropriate judgment is. What does it look like to bring justice? Which again brings me right back to Plato. Because his ideas about justice were not only about society, but about the soul. And about what it is to be a balanced and healthy person. With the intellect and the desires. This looks like some sort of therapeutic approach to me. To bring in the emotions, and the only way that you master them is to allow them to show up, to feel them, which is like meditation, right? You don't stop the thoughts, you allow them to be there. And then you become the observer of them. And then, in this case, you bring in the sort of discernment. And that is when you're in the moment where you're with someone who you love and that you care about, and you have some sort of emotional reaction. You take that time to feel it, to be with it, and to understand what's going on and maybe why you are overreacting or feeling the need to overreact. You hit that pause button. That's enough. That's I could go around in circles. That's one of the most profound and beautiful tarot card readings I think I've ever done. Right there. And it instantly spoke to me. That is probably the most useful and interesting tarot card arrangement and synchronistic layout. Also, that right there is a culminating event for me. This is what I've been digging into this for. Just a message like that, just something that could give me an image like the way a dream does, that I can just hold on to and incubate that. And I am just so grateful. Thank you for anyone who's been sticking with this series, who has interest in this. Please leave me any questions, suggestions, things that you see, thoughts you have. I would love to communicate with you. If you would like to collaborate in some way, let me know. I could definitely use some people who would like to collaborate with different ideas, especially like if you're into astrology, maybe geomancy, the tarot, Jungian psychology, magic, chaos magic, a variety of things. If you're interested in getting a hexatetraglyph, I sell them on Etsy. I make them by hand. I use a little tiny table saw and a pen plotter, and I just do it by hand. I sell them for a very fair price. And if you would rather to just print one off yourself, just contact me and I'll send you a PDF for free. And you're just welcome to do it however you'd like. If you purchase one, you're just supporting me with a hobby that I have and something I enjoy doing. If anybody's interested in going through this whole process with me, let me know. I'd be happy to help guide someone through. And with that, I think I'm going to wrap it up for today. We have 3 cards left. I think I might know what a couple of them are because I've accidentally been keeping a little tabs, but I might be off. I might be totally surprised. I haven't paid that close of attention. Big moment though. Big moment. Tomorrow we will be on letter Z. So today I chose yin. Well, that tells me where we're going to be tomorrow. But we'll cover that tomorrow. We'll cover that tomorrow. I already know which pathway we're going to be on. So there's 2 hexagrams I'm starting to look at here. Very interesting. Okay. Have a good night.